and thanks for asking me here today to talk about beavers and ecotourism in Perthshire. My name is Danielle Muir and I run Perthshire Wildlife and Celtica Wildflowers. And I first set up Perthshire Wildlife in 2013 while still working as a ranger with Perth and Kinross Council. And we were no longer allowed to do the biodiversity work that we all loved so much. So Perthshire Wildlife was really started as a vehicle to deliver conservation work, initially the Carsa Swift Conservation Project with the Tayside Biodiversity Partnership, which went on to run in 3 phases over the next few years. And while managing the Carsa Swift project in 2013, I also ran a number of guided walks, various walks, snowdrop walks, brilliant bluebell walks, bat walks, foraging walks, and also Beaver Safaris. And the beaver tours were very popular from the start. Over the years, they've grown and grown, so that from then, when I was running maybe 1 tour a fortnight, I envisage there'll be 5 or 6 tours a week this season. We had about 5 per week, 4 to 5 a week last year. So we now run the Beaver Safaris at 3 locations with 3 different offerings, as people were very keen to see not just the wonderful beavers themselves, but also the amazing wetlands that they produce if they dam the waterway. So the first and busiest tour is the Riverbank Safari, and that's on an absolutely beautiful river near Blairgowrie where the beavers have minimum impact. They haven't built a dam, their lodge is in the bank, and they fell very few trees as the vegetation by the bank is very natural and it's not farmed right up to the very edge of the river like it is in so many places. So there's plenty for them to feed on, such as sweet Sicily. In the picture on the left here is definitely one of their favourites, especially in early spring. It's full of sugars. Comfrey, lots of comfrey grows there, butterbur, and they even do their bit for non-native species removal by feeding on Himalayan balsam and even Japanese knotweed, would you believe? So they're really easy to see here as we sit on the bank, not far from the lodge, and we've had 95 to 100% success rate of seeing the beavers here over the past 5 years. Sightings during June are especially good as they move upriver a bit from the main lodge. I think it's when the female is suckling the kits, and they move out of the lodge to give the female a bit more space. And we've got the height to get really good sightings of them at this location. So there's some more nice pictures of the area here. It really is lovely in the spring and the summer with singing yellowhammers and willow warblers, song thrushes, skylarks, swifts screaming overhead, sand martins, and we get regular sightings of kingfishers and otters too. And so this area along here is the wildflowers that grow here are probably the best that I've seen in this area of Strathmore. Quite possibly because it used to be owned by the co-op, and they farmed in quite a wildlife friendly way. So the second site we visit, we do our half-day beaver safaris here and also the winter beaver safaris. These contain beaver dams which have produced an absolutely amazing beaver wetland over the past 20 years or so, with lots of chewed and coppice trees, and it's also a top spot to collect beaver chips and chewed sticks to take home. So I've been lucky to see the changes in the area over the past 20 years or so since the beavers arrived, as I used to work on the Cashran Trail, which runs alongside the beaver wetlands. There's been a huge increase in the number of amphibians here in the early summer. We've got to be really careful that we don't stand on the little froglets and toadlets that are coming out of the beaver pools. Plus dragonflies as well. We see lots of emerald damselflies, common hawkers and black darters, especially, which are decreasing in numbers in the rest of the UK, probably due to climate change as their wetlands dry up. So beavers have a really important role to play in both the nature emergency and the climate emergency. I'll just play this video of these black darters. So these black darters are sunbathing on a beaver chewed log next to the beaver wetlands. And here's a nice video of a couple of beaver kits. And you can just see the dam in the far edge of the right hand side. We had a really special evening when there's a couple came up right from the south coast of England, and they took the train to Edinburgh and then hired a car from Edinburgh to come here, and we saw one of the beavers right by the edge of the dam, and it was diving down to the bottom of the pool collecting mud and then coming up to the dam and pushing the mud into the dam with its paws. It was really wonderful to see. So that's I took this film last summer, I think, no, the summer before, and there were two kits that summer, just one kit at this location last year. So we're on the Beaver Canoe Safaris with Beyond Adventure in Aberfeldy, where we go into the Tay just outside the town, and we paddle back to the centre, passing a few lodges along the way, and we look at coppice trees, what vegetation they eat, some small dams, a bank lodge, and hopefully the beavers themselves. We saw them on all except one of the trips last year, so there's a good chance of seeing them by canoe as well as on the other trips, where we see them on between 95 and 100% of the trips over the last 5 years. So this is a lovely section of river with some exciting but not too exciting sections, beautiful scenery and lots of different wildlife such as ospreys and kingfishers, lots of ducks, goosanders, shell ducks as well. So it's a really lovely paddle. So we're here in the Beyond
And it was described as
one of the top wildlife experiences in Scotland by one of the directors of the Big Picture a couple of years ago. And here's one of our customers to tell you what they thought.
Anything that you'd like to say about what brought you to Perthshire and to go out on the Beaver Canoe Safari?
So I came up here last year to do a beaver safari sat on the side of the river, and it was absolutely fantastic. So I planned my trip again this time around, coming on the canoe safari this time, so a bit of a different twist. But I've always had an interest in wildlife, and beavers are a particular passion. So I think for me, coming to this area, the chance to see beavers, whether it be on a special trip like this, or when I'm going out walking around on the side of a river or something. And for me, it's not just about the beavers themselves, it's about what they create, the whole experience, the habitat that they create, and all the other species that attracts. So tonight we've been watching bats as well as we've come back, and it's going dark, and the wetlands that they create all that habitat. So for me, it's not just about the beavers themselves, it's about the whole concept of what they can bring, and the chance to get to see that in the UK is just amazing.
Fantastic, thank you. And Corey, do you have anything to say about the beavers?
I love them.
For me, it's not just about the beavers themselves, it's about the whole concept of what they can bring, and the chance to get to see that in the UK is just amazing.
Fantastic, thank you. And Corey, do you have anything to say about the beavers?
I love them.
So here are some figures, beaver breakdowns. So this is from September last year. At that point, we'd had 411 bookings, 50% from Scotland, 50% from the rest of the UK. Over half of the people who booked would book a beaver safari and then they'd organise a holiday around it. So all the accommodation and the meals and shopping that all goes alongside that means that beaver tourism here in Perthshire, it puts a huge amount of money into the local economy. And I've got a few nice pictures, or nice videos I should say, of some of our lovely beaver families. So I've been watching this family for 10 years. The male's quite distinctive. So this is probably, this is in early June, where you get absolutely fantastic sightings of them. And look at them eating sweet cicely on the right there and comfrey on the left. And you can see it's a lovely bank of native vegetation. That's Dad on the right hand side there. He's an old boy, been watching him for 10 years. And just listen to that lovely bird song. They're just so lovely. And here's another one. And there's Dad Beaver at the back again, and they do live in a very close-knit family group, and it's really quite touching to see the interaction between them. So they're having a nice groom there. So Dad Beaver, he's quite old. You can see his furs. It's quite often a bit unkempt and spiky, so it's always nice to see the youth grooming him. This is the last one. This is a pair of youngsters having a bit of a barney, building up their strength before they head off. So they leave the lodge at 2 years of age. Sometimes you can hear them making a noise, which is sort of like a cross between a grunt and a squeak. You quite often hear the kits making that kind of noise when they're playing. So we all know how wonderful beavers are for ecology, and the contribution to ecotourism and the economy is only going to grow as they're being relocated, thankfully, within Scotland now. So I'm sure you'll agree with me that beavers truly are brilliant. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the beavers of Perthshire, and if you fancy coming out to see them yourselves, then please do get in touch. If you have a look on the website perthshirewildlife.co.uk, and then go on to Beaver Tours, and you can see the different options that we have there. So thanks very much, and hopefully see you sometime soon.